Buddy, call the meeting to order for the Public Health, Safety, and Transportation Committee. It is January 28th, 2025, and it's 4:01 p.m. Please call the roll.
Chairperson Mike Seville.
Present.
Vice Chair Bill Donnell.
Here.
Alderwoman Wani Garza.
Here.
Alderman John Lash.
Present.
Alderman Ted Masiakos.
Present.
5 present.
Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. 25-0044, approval of the minutes from the PHS&T Committee meeting held on January 14th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion for approval for Alderwoman Wani Garza, second by Alderman Lash. Any corrections, additions, or deletions? All in
I'll be
favor, say
abstaining,
aye.
Mr. Chair. I was
Huh?
absent. I want to be abstaining. I was absent the last
Okay.
meeting.
Great. Other than that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Voting present?
Sure, present, abstaining, whatever the legal
Right.
terminology is.
Do we have any members of the public wishing to give comment?
No one has signed up.
Okay, we'll go to the agenda then. We have two items, 24-0855. And this is a resolution establishing the maximum number of Class D downtown fringe on-site consumption liquor licenses and self-service endorsements unofficially related to the application from Rec House LLC at 100 South River Street. Jennifer, welcome.
Good afternoon. Jennifer Stallings, City Clerk. I am here with Eric Gilly. He is the owner of Rec House. He is here to give a brief presentation after we go through any questions that you may have for me, any technical questions or anything. As you know, Eric is here asking for you to increase the number of available liquor licenses to accommodate his business. He is hoping to open a really neat kind of new concept above the Society 57 coffee shop. You'll see it all in his presentation, so I won't go into any of it, but you will notice on the Legistar item that this is not only an on-site consumption license, it is also a self-service endorsement license, which does have to go before the City Council for approval. So I will just kind of open it up if you have any questions for me, and then I will ask Eric to introduce himself and then proceed to his presentation if you'd like.
Alderman Janelle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was some confusion with the condos and Society 57 as far as being included in the same lot. Or can you kind of shed a little light on that?
Included in the same lot.
The folks I got phone calls from the folks from the condos that said they were included in this petition somehow.
Okay, so I believe that the condos were given notice of the zoning requirements. We do have Mr. Sieben and Ms. Vasek here from zoning and planning to answer any questions specific to the zoning, but that's pertaining to the underlying zoning requirements due to the nature of the actual gaming upstairs. Not video, or not gambling at all. It's not gambling, it's just gaming.
But I think what I understand is they're both part of a PPD.
That's beyond what I am familiar
Tracy,
with.
come to the rescue.
Thank goodness, she always does.
Yeah, so it is, there's 3 lots within the PDD, or the plan development. There is the 2 buildings right across the street. That vacant lot is also within the conditional use plan development. And then lot 3, which is the POCUS building. So this change would only affect the POCUS building. And it basically is a change to add arcade as a permitted use for the POCUS building.
So it doesn't affect those other properties?
It does not. They would not change any of the zoning.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, Alderman Lash.
Just for Jennifer, how does the RFID work? Maybe that'll be part of the presentation.
How does the what work?
The RFID, the sample self-serve.
Oh, that is part of the presentation,
Yep.
I believe, and Mr. Gilly can explain that.
I'll wait for that.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions of Jennifer? If not, Mr. Gilly?
Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to speak here today in front of you. My name is Eric Gilly. As Jennifer mentioned, I'm the owner of Rec House. I'm here today to share with you the vision and the business model for Rec House, and also why this business concept is asking for a liquor license. Next slide, please. So a little bit about Rec House. Rec House is a vibrant, upscale activity and game bar located along the Fox River in downtown Aurora, mere walking distance from this city's theaters, shops, and dining hotspots. Rec House is redefining what social entertainment is by pairing a dynamic bar atmosphere with an exciting array of games, arcades, and other activities. With an impressive selection of local craft beer on draft, signature cocktails, and a variety of red and white wines, Rec House is the perfect place to unwind, catch up with friends and family, and add a little extra fun to your night out in downtown Aurora. Before I get into what makes Rec House unique with all the games and activities, I think it's important and relative to explain a little bit about my background and how it pertains to Rec House and why I chose to launch this business. Since 2011, I've worked in the coin-operated amusement industry. For 6 years, I worked for a company called Bandai Namco, manufacturing arcade games for renowned companies such as Dave & Buster's, Round One, Main Event, Chuck E. Cheese, Bolero, and many, many others. For the past 8 years, I worked for the largest pinball manufacturer in the world, located here in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, manufacturing pinball machines daily. During those 8 years, I was able to work with hundreds of arcades, bar arcades, or barcades as some call it, breweries, and other entertainment concepts. I'm fortunate to know the owners of a lot of these bar arcades that can serve as advisors if need be. Some of these arcades owners that I am familiar with are Headquarters Beercade in Chicago, Emporium Arcade Bar in Chicago, the Operating Room Arcade. They have 3 locations in Iowa. I know the Rewind Arcade Bar in Santa Rosa, California. Cidercade has 5 locations throughout Texas. Pins Mechanical has 10 plus locations throughout the Midwest and the East, just to name a few. I've seen many different concepts around the country that have been well received by the local community and are thriving very, very well. And Rec House is my concept for the next entertainment destination for downtown Aurora. Next slide, please. I've signed a lease at 100 South River Street. This is the second story of the beloved Society 57 coffee shop and event space. This second story has been vacant for many, many years. Across the street to the west is the public library, and across the street on Benton is Wickwood House to the north. The second story is an 8,000 square foot facility with gorgeous wooden ceiling, exposed trusses, and exterior walls for brick. The design of Rec House will keep these features intact to protect the integrity and history of the building. So now I'd like to share with you some of the games and activities that can be found at Rec House. Next slide, please. So at Rec House, and again, these are visual representations, not mock-ups. At Rec House, you'll find 7 what we call game lanes. These game lanes will be able to be rented by the hour. You'll be able to choose bocce ball, putter pong, or bags, or if you're from the south, cornhole. Next slide, please. Shuffleboard tables. Now, this is a personal favorite of mine, and if you're lucky enough to find one out in the wild, typically you'll only come across only a 9-foot table in breweries. At Rec House, we'll have 2 18-foot tables side by side. Next slide, please. Some more common bar games that you can find. At Rec House, we'll have 2 pool tables, 3 dartboards, and foosball. Next slide, please. Technical difficulties.
Playing a game.
It's stuck. Well, I can go on without the visuals as she's bringing it up. So some of the other arcade games that can be found at Rec House. As I mentioned, I've worked in the pinball industry for many, many years. We're going to have a very impressive lineup of modern pinball machines, either 8, potentially 10 pinball machines in a row. Now, modern pinball machines are different than maybe your father's pinball machines, where the games nowadays connect to the internet. So players can scan their own personal player profile, they can load their username into the game, and they can collect their scores and achievements and play against their friends from across the country. So it's really community driven. Other games are skee ball, basketball. Some of our arcade games are Mario Kart, air hockey, and then other fun, competitive, quick games that keep people entertained and encourage repeat play. Would you like me to keep going?
Please.
Without the slides? Okay, great. So there will be a lot of events and leagues and tournaments throughout the week at Rec House, and that's what makes this location very special. By having these events throughout the week, it'll bring people downtown during the week and make it a go-to spot. While they're visiting Rec House, we hope that they'll dine at some of the local establishments either before or after, whereas maybe they weren't going to come down there during the week. So having these leagues with pinball, with bocce ball, with shuffleboard, with skee ball, it keeps people very engaged with this business concept. So if it's a Tuesday night, it's pinball leagues. If it's a Wednesday night, it's shuffleboard leagues. We want to encourage people to continue to come downtown Aurora where they may not have before. So what is available to eat or drink at Rec House? At Rec House, you'll find food and drink options to enjoy while playing games during your visit. We'll proudly offer a self-pour draft wall consisting of 24 handles of local craft beer and cider. And our goal is to support local breweries. We want to support local breweries not only in Aurora, but neighboring towns. We want our guests to recognize the breweries that are on draft. And if they don't, we want them to be able to sample and see what they're missing out on. You may be familiar with the self-pour draft wall system. It's the same concept as Tapville in Fox Valley Mall. At Rec House, after providing your ID, you'll be able to purchase an RFID card, which is the card that activates each draft system, and you'll need this card in order to continue to pour. There is settings in this system. I know this is a concern about overconsumption. There's settings where we can, the factory settings are every 32 ounces, you have to get the card reactivated. So every 2 drinks, essentially, you'll be able to be face-to-face with a bartender so they can see you and see if you're being overconsumed. So it's entirely safe for the location. We will be requiring all of our bartenders to be Bassett certified, which is important because this is a pivotal role in keeping alcohol out of the hands of anyone that's not 21 or over. And it will prevent overconsumption as well, which is the same responsibility of any bar or restaurant. Rec House will not have a dedicated kitchen for preparing food because we're not a restaurant and we're not trying to be something that we're not. We will have a menu of prepackaged food. We'll have multiple options and flavors for beef jerky, multiple options and flavors for popcorn, multiple flavors for Dots pretzels, and so on and so forth. So although you can get full on those as a dinner option if guests want to, or if they want to use that as an appetizer before they walk down the street to Leilani, they can choose to do so. We'll also have QR codes available on the tables and throughout the bar for local restaurants where guests can order online and have it delivered to Rec House for them to consume while they're playing games. As I mentioned before, we're not a restaurant. We're not trying to compete with restaurants, and as a matter of fact, we want to partner with all the local restaurants. We want to encourage our guests to make a night out of their trip to downtown Aurora. We want them to visit all of the local restaurants either before or after, which in turn will fuel more money downtown Aurora and fuel people to stay down here longer, potentially visit some shops that they may not have visited if Rec House wasn't there. The next slide would have been a mock-up of our sign that Aurora Sign Company is currently designing for us. It's about 8 feet tall, and it will be on the side of the brick building on the entrance of Benton Street. It's beautiful looking. They do a fantastic job. I'm sure you've seen plenty of their work. And in conclusion, I came across this space above Society 57, and I immediately fell in love. I fell in love with the space, the building, the community around it, and more so what this city has done for economic development, and how much it's transformed over the years. And I really look forward to being a part of that. I truly believe that Rec House can become a staple for downtown Aurora. Our mission is to inspire not only local residents, but residents of neighboring cities such as Naperville, Oswego, Sugar Grove, North Aurora, maybe the Tri-City areas, and get people to come downtown Aurora where they may have not before. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Any questions of Mr. Gilly? Alderman Lesh?
What about parking for this facility? Will they be using the library's parking lot? Because the street parking gets pretty full already in that area.
Tracy, do you want to comment on that? I mean, last week we went over this, but yes, the library parking is available for use for Rec House guests. Street parking alongside, both in front of both those apartment complex are available. Also on Benton Street. Any other parking lots you'd like to address?
I mean, any of the public parking downtown can be used also.
Any other questions?
Mike, what is the hours going to be?
Oh, right. That was on one of the slides. I apologize. We're going to be closed on Mondays. Throughout the week, Monday through Thursday, it'll be 3 p.m. to midnight. Fridays and Saturdays will be 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. And on Sundays will be 11 a.m. to midnight. Again, this was on one of the slides, so I'm missing a lot. But we will be 21 and over after 9 p.m. On the weekends, we will have a doorman checking IDs once 9 p.m. Occurs. So that is to kind of protect all of the patrons inside. The bartenders won't have to check necessarily all the IDs, but we'll be protecting who comes in and out on the weekends.
If the people is already inside early, how you want to control that?
We'll be making announcements within the hour from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., notifying on a daily basis that will be 21 and over after 9 p.m.
Okay.
It's very similar to how Dave & Buster's operates. They're 9 p.m. or they're 21 and over after 10 p.m., I believe.
Alderman Janelle?
A couple of curious questions. I've been in that space, and about halfway down, there's a bar between, kind of holding the walls together. Are you going to be able to eliminate that, or does that have to stay?
I'm sorry, can you explain the...
Like a giant bolt that holds the walls together, that runs about a foot off the ground,
I'm actually not...
bisects that space.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. And I've walked the space plenty. My general contractor and the architect...
Maybe
haven't
it's already been
mentioned-
removed, but you had to step over it when I was up there.
Oh, then it's probably been removed. I don't recall jumping over any bar.
Okay. And then I see you have HVAC in the bathrooms, but you also, obviously, this will be a conditioned space?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Jennifer, how many of these establishments with regard to the liquor license and Little Food do we have now in the community?
This would be Class C. I don't have it right in front of me. We don't have many of them. I would have to get back to you on that. Maybe 6.
6, okay.
Don't quote me on that, though.
Yeah.
But I can get you a definite number of our Class C licenses.
Sure. Okay, great.
Mr. Chair, our docket says Class D.
So Class D is a special, because it's a downtown fringe. So it's contained in the downtown fringe, but it is a Class C specialty license.
So please explain for us here and also for the people at home what is a Class C specialty license?
So a Class C specialty license is something that doesn't fit into a Class A, which is a package sales license, and a Class B is an on-site consumption license. So Class C would be something that it fits nicely with this type of an establishment, like the golf place that we had before. We had the indoor simulated golf place. We have Mega Fun Park. They are a Class C license. We have, I believe Phillips Park is a Class C. So something that it doesn't fit into the traditional restaurant / bar or a package sales location would be a Class C. But the Class D identifies the location of where it would fall inside
Okay.
the city.
And if I may ask a question of the petitioner as well, can you explain to me exactly how is your food service, if any, going to work? I see you have Grubhub and delivery service here for food, so you're not going to be serving any food at this building or location, right?
No, there will be a menu of prepackaged snacks that guests can order from the bartenders. So there will be an actual menu of the beef jerky, the popcorn, the pretzels, all the savory crackers. They'll be ordering that from the bartenders, as they would if we had an actual kitchen.
So how does the rest of it work, the delivery?
Oh, yeah, so the QR codes on the tables, that takes you directly to the two specific restaurants, the New China Hut, and I can't pronounce the other one, the Taquerio, yes, LTO. It'll take them directly to their website where they can place an order online for delivery. And they'll
Okay.
bring it to Rec House, and they'll meet them at the door.
Downstairs or upstairs?
That part is to be determined. We will have on the first floor, we'll have a dedicated entrance and a little bit of a lobby area where guests can to walk in. So to be determined if the delivery drivers will walk up the stairs or the guests will have to meet them at the door or not.
Okay. All right, I'm trying to get an idea.
Sure.
Usually, traditionally, you sit down at a table, you get your drink, you order food, somebody delivers it to you or brings it to your table, somebody comes, clears your table, you keep playing.
Right, and this is a very similar concept to a lot of the breweries have adapted to. When breweries don't have room for kitchens or they just don't want kitchens because they want to focus on what they do best, they partner with neighboring restaurants that deliver food right next door. A perfect example of this is one of my good friends owns Nick and Ivy Brewing Company in downtown Lockport. They have a few neighboring restaurants that they have QR codes where they'll walk the food in bags next door into the restaurant and meet them at the door. So they'll text them. Some of the restaurants will have a system like Toast that will text them, when they're at the door. Others will just meet them at the door. You'll just have to be ready for it.
Okay, so there's no in-between person at the door that's going to say, okay, I know table X is waiting for an order. Uber person brings it in, it's already paid. Somebody at the door takes it and takes
That's
it to
correct.
table. So
Yeah,
it doesn't get taken to table X.
Right. At Rec House, it'll be a little too complicated to do that because the whole concept of Rec House is the games and activities. People are up and moving around. It'll be on the patron who orders the food for delivery to be aware of when it arrives based on wherever they're ordering from.
Sure. All right, thank you so much for that.
Of course.
It's an interesting concept. I'm just trying to get my head around it. I'm not a guy that orders with Uber or that kind of stuff personally.
Well, then you would be the perfect person that would dine at Leilani and then come to Rec House afterwards.
How about after a show?
Absolutely.
How about that?
Absolutely.
All right, there you go.
A show, a dinner at Craft Urban, and then a nightcap at Rec House.
Yeah, there you go. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Of course.
Alderman Janelle.
Ted, my children have showed me this concept before, and I'm not sure that I like it. I like somebody bring food to me, but I know it's out there and I know it works. But the other thing I just wanted to just touch on, the challenge in this space in the past has been an elevator, and I believe that you're going to install that elevator, and that's going to be accessible to both patrons and if you want to bring beer upstairs, I expect that's probably
Yes,
pretty
correct.
handy.
Yeah, so right now, this building is, it was a former motor building. It's a large elevator shaft that's empty. We are working with Kluber Architects to design the elevator build-out, and one will be installed prior to opening or that's the plan. So yes, that to answer your question.
Very good.
And when are you looking to open?
That's the $1,000,000 question. Best case scenario, we're hoping for June 1st. If all goes well with this committee and all the committees following, construction is estimated to be about 12 weeks. So, mid-May, June 1st, that's the goal.
And what other committees will you be going to?
We will be speaking tomorrow night at the BZE. We will be on the schedule for a finance committee and then the COW and City Council.
Great.
Motion to approve?
Alderman Lash?
What's going before finance?
Tomorrow's BZE committee.
No, I mean, why does this have to go to finance? I'm just curious.
Part of David Debo's contribution with elevator and some of the build-out costs.
Okay. And then what's the plan to mitigate any sound? Or, I guess you've got a business operating downstairs, you're going through construction upstairs. I'm just curious how that's going to work. It can be difficult, especially since it looks like a concrete floor in there.
Sure. I mean, I feel like, I'm no expert, I feel like a concrete floor would actually help eliminate some of the sound that's traveling down. I know Society 57 does close at 3 p.m. Weddings on the weekend for the event space, Friday and Saturday. I don't expect our crew, our GC, to be working on, during those time frames. So, I've been working very closely with Scott Hodge, the owner. He hasn't addressed that as a concern.
And then what about the ratio of bartenders to anticipated patrons? Just because it is a self-pour, are you cutting back on staff? And I guess throw in there the idea of security as well.
Sure, yeah. So I haven't really thought of the idea of cutting back on staff just because we have a self-pour system. We're going to have approximately 110 actual seats in the place. If every game station is full, we'll have about another 100 game stations. I haven't been granted any sort of maximum occupancy approval yet, but I anticipate throughout the busy time on the weekends, we'll have 3 to 4 bartenders, and throughout the week, 2, potentially 3 as needed. Again, we're hoping to drive a lot of traffic throughout the week, so it's kind of a test to see how much traffic we can get in the building. And then again, on Fridays and Saturdays, we will have, from 9 p.m. onward, we'll have a doorman, which also will act as a semi-security.
No further questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Second.
Motion been made by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Donnell. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, 25-0070, a resolution establishing the maximum number of licenses for tattoo and body art establishments in accordance with Chapter 25, Article 11, tattoo and body art establishments.
Good evening. How are you guys doing today?
Good, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. So, what's the questions? Thank you.
Hey, is there a presentation?
I'll introduce myself.
All right.
Lisa Zepeda, Revenue and Collections Manager. I'm also just here to help Brandon with his initiative here.
Appreciate it.
Did you want to do a presentation then,
Um,
as to why you're here?
No, I don't have anything prepared. I was just invited to be here because you guys had a couple questions. But
Good afternoon, Alex Voigt with the Mayor's Office. So before you today is an application for a tattoo license, a tattoo and body art establishment. You may recognize Mr. Rodriguez. He was here previously for a location on High Street. He has been very successful in his business and is looking to go into a larger space. So he is still located within the First Ward, it's 261 East Indian Trail, but it is in a brand new location. So just a couple of cleanup items. He did not renew his location, his license for High Street because he is focused on opening the new business. Those expired at the end of 2024. So this is a new application for a new location. Same business, just a different address. And with that, yeah. And with that, we can take any questions.
Okay, when are you looking to move in?
When
soon as you guys allow us to open.
You've already signed a lease then?
Yes, we signed the lease on December 11, and in just 1 month, we got everything prepared. We already passed the health inspection with the state of Illinois, and all we are waiting for is our occupancy permits.
And just as another housekeeping note, Mr. Rodriguez did participate in a DST meeting to make sure that all of the requirements in terms of the space, the zoning, the distance requirements, all of those were met. So this location is within the requirements outlined in the code. So this is the last step before he's able to open, essentially.
Right. And how much bigger is the space for this new?
Much bigger. It is actually about 4 times bigger than our last place that you guys visited. We have a total of 4 artists and a couple of apprentices that are learning how to tattoo there. And I just want to point out that in just 1 year, I've grown a lot in this business. And because of that, I was able to start traveling outside of the country. So I've been traveling a little bit. I was in Milan last month. We're planning on going next month to other countries. And our whole idea is to bring artists from other countries to work here and be able to show people what's like the industry of tattoos in other countries. So
his space is about double the size than he had previously.
Okay.
So, going to be the same name and the new location?
Correct, yes.
Any questions at the committee or the Alderman of the First Ward, Alderman Barrero?
Yes. Well, I just wanted to say when I found out about this, the first thought I had, oh no, we're losing a business to the ward, and I found out that we weren't losing it to the ward, so that was a good thing. Secondly, I did have an opportunity to bring this up at the Pigeon Hill Neighbors, and they felt it was a good location for this. So, I think it's good to find out what the residents are thinking. I haven't had a chance to bring it up to the Northeast Community meeting that's coming up on Saturday, but I'm sure it'll probably be the same feedback. There's not a lot of residences in the area. It's business. There's a lot of businesses on that stretch of Indian Trail, so I think it's a good fit.
Okay, good, thank you. Any other discussion or questions of the committee?
Motion to approve.
Motion been made by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Lash. Any further discussion?
One quick question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just to be clear, the High Street location is shutting down and you're moving to a new location?
Correct,
Okay,
yes. Yep, so this is a brand-new license.
Okay, and there's been no opposition at Pigeon Hill that you're aware of?
I was just at the last meeting and brought it up. And nobody had any concerns.
Okay. No further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Did you want to second it then?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, 5-0. Good luck, Mr. Rodriguez.
appreciate you guys.
Any other business to come before the PHS&T committee? If not, a motion for adjournment is in order.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Lash. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. We are adjourned 5-0 at 4:35 p.m.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck in the new location.